I am here with John Stewart from Lancaster Hypnotherapy, and we are going to talk a little bit about a class that he has coming up here at Firefly Hollow Wellness Center. We've had him before in the past. He's very popular, very professional, and just really fun to work with. So, John, I'm really excited to interview you a little bit about your background here today. But I want to learn, I want to share, of course, with our audience and our community, people who haven't met you yet, who you are and what kind of work you do.
Well, thank you very much, Kara. I'm excited and looking forward to returning to Firefly Hollow Wellness Center. It's always a great group of people, and I always have such fun at your venue. Well, I'll introduce myself. I'm John Stewart. I'm a clinical hypnotherapist. Up until recently, I've had an office in Lancaster County, and I'm doing all of my work now online, virtually, usually over the Zoom platform. And I found that to be very effective. I'm now actually working with people around the country. In fact, just before this interview, I was working with a young lady in Honolulu. So it's very exciting.
Are you serious? Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm a big fan of Hawaii. So that's amazing. That's amazing.
Terrific. I've never been to Hawaii, but she says it's beautiful, and I'll take her word for it. But hypnosis, to me, bridges the gap between allopathic modern medicine and the old traditional way of medicine. It bridges that gap. And I think a lot of people today, specifically today, are looking for alternatives. Don't get me wrong, modern medicine has its value, absolutely, positively. But I think there's a reason why it's called a practice of medicine and not a perfection. And I think that's where hypnosis steps in. It's not magic, but it helps an individual discover the resources within themselves to heal, to make those changes in their life. And I found it to be very rewarding.
I completely agree, because we need more tools to find empowerment. And I think that this is one tool that's really very valuable. And I think a lot of people, when they think about hypnotherapists, they think of the hypnotherapists that do the stage shows, and they make you cluck like a chicken and things like that. I think a lot of times people think that. So could you tell us a little bit about how you got into hypnosis as this line of work, and what type of things that you work with for people with this modality?
Sure. From your own memory, I can testify that every single workshop that I've performed at Firefly Hollow, I don't recall anyone clucking like chicken. But anyway, hypnosis helped me long time ago, many years ago. Many years ago, as a young man, I was struggling with stuttering. And despite the fact that at the time I was working with a speech pathologist, really didn't feel I was making success that I wanted to. So I sought the help of a local hypnotist. And while the transformation didn't occur overnight, I will share with you that those sessions that I worked with him were very relaxing. And more importantly, I felt the messages were getting down to that deep inner level of myself. He actually helped me realize that stuttering, like many of the habits and behaviors that we struggle with as humans, this was not an affliction. It was not a disease. It was not like a broken arm. This was something that actually a part of my inner self was choosing to do. And he will help me understand that since I was choosing to do this, I could choose to undo it. And for me, it was like a eureka moment, like, wow, why didn't I understand that before? So slowly but surely, the entire understanding began to unravel. And as you know from our workshops, I'm now speaking in front of as many as 100 people, and with relaxation, with a sense of fun, with a sense of fluidity, without stuttering. So for me, it was transformational.
What's really interesting about John's workshops is that we've actually had to direct traffic the last event that you had, because it was so many people signed up. We were at maximum capacity. And I think everyone out there, if you're looking for a really nice modality and a way to kind of introduce yourself to this, particular modality, we're going to be using some tools and techniques in this for your class coming up. And it's an interesting and fun workshop. And it is spoon bending. So I know that people maybe have heard of this. I think the most common pop culture reference is from Uri Geller, the spoon bender that was back in the like the 70s, was the 80s? I feel like that's the
Yes.
only reference. And of course, in The Matrix, there's a scene with that little boy who was bending the spoon with his mind. And so when I think spoon bending, that's the first thing that I thought of. And I just want to have you explain to us what that is and how that relates to hypnosis and what you're going to be offering. Because I'm really curious about that. Because again, that's what my first thought was like, how are we going to bend a spoon with our mind? So tell us about that process.
Well, spoon bending to me provides physical evidence of the untapped resources that we as humans have within us. We all possess these untapped resources. Energetically, if I break it down, energetically, we as humans interact with, on a molecular level, with the spoon. And during the workshops, I always ask all the participants to bring their own spoons. So there's no possibility of having a trick spoon or anything like that. These are real spoons that people will pick up at thrift shops and yard sales. When the spoon is ready, and this is a kindergarten class, so we will be using our hands. I just have a spoon here, which I actually helped bend a little while ago.
Wow.
But during kindergarten class, we make contact, so we use our hands. Yes, it is possible for that spoon to bend by itself, and I've seen that done.
Are you
But in
serious?
this, I've seen that done.
I mean, I
Yes.
believe it, but I love that, and it makes me so happy. That's so great.
Most of the people in your workshops are very happy when they feel that this spoon becomes soft enough that they can bend this, and it does become soft. On a molecular level, the spoon just changes integrity. And usually around the thinnest part of the spoon here, it just becomes soft, like clay, like putty.
Mm.
And that period of time can last from a few seconds to maybe more than a minute.
Mm.
And during that time period, and then I have the individuals bend and twist all sorts of shapes. Of course, there's always someone in the group, usually a spouse of someone else who is kind of drug into the workshop just for support.
Yeah.
And often it's a strong man. And at some point, he's back there, probably in the back row, and he's breaking the spoon.
Mm.
You can't do this with physical brute force. It will break. It's stainless steel. It will break. But as you've discovered, I've had children as young as 6 years old bending spoons.
Yeah, we have a
6-year-old children
video
who,
of that from
yeah,
the last workshop. He was so cute too. He was so happy when he was doing it. So
I wish someone would have introduced me at that young age, just what is possible. And during the workshops, I often remind individuals that if you can now do what some people consider impossible, what now becomes possible in your life? Can you remove that limiting belief that you struggled with? Can you write that book, change that job, start that new endeavor, whatever it is that's been holding you back? Can you now do that since you're now doing the impossible? And yet many people will often bend a spoon similar to that. However, with a little bit of practice, I'll share with you a little bit of practice and perseverance. Yes, something like this can be achieved. And this is another spoon that I've bent. This has 4 very tight curls to it, tight enough that it can't even place a toothpick through.
wow. That's an art form.
It is a sense of, it's a sense of art. How it relates to hypnosis? Basically, I help the individuals at the workshop to place their conscious mind aside, just like we do in hypnosis. Because you may already be thinking, like many others, oh, this consciously, we can't do this. This is not real. This is not possible. But our subconscious mind knows how to do this. So placing our conscious mind aside, just like I do in hypnosis practice, we can have a conversation. with the inner part of ourselves, that subconscious part of ourselves that knows how to have fun, knows how to do all sorts of interesting things.
So when you're talking about putting your conscious mind aside, when you deal with people who maybe are skeptical, like I'm a very critical, analytical, scientific thinker, but I'm also very curious and open. Is that where maybe it's more challenging for someone who's either skeptical or they have a hard time getting out of their logical mind or shifting into putting their consciousness aside? Tell us about how you deal with that when it comes to people who are entering into that class. I'm always curious.
Well, it definitely becomes a hindrance to their success if they've already had that mindset that this is not possible. Let's face it. I think it was Henry Ford said that I can't think of it. If whether you think you can or think you can't, you're right.
Yeah.
So if you're walking into the class, and most of these workshops, they already have an inkling that this is possible. So it's probably not so much of an issue in your workshops. But I've had some responses like on Facebook, YouTube's channels, people texting me saying, oh, well, I can see that you're rubbing the spoon, you're massaging the spoon, you're warming it up, you're making it soft already. The melting point of stainless steel is 1,400 degrees. So if someone can generate 1,400 degrees from their fingers, I sure would like to see it. So that blows that theory out the water very quickly.
But I
And
love
yes,
that
the
you're
spoon
teaching others to do this, not just this is like some sort of trick for them, for you. Like I think in the past when we've seen that, it's been like, oh, hey, this is a magic trick. But I think it's like you said, the intention for this is for people to see how powerful they are and what other things that they could overcome. And I love that about, again, empowerment is what we're all about at Firefly, and giving tools to be able to find and discover that within ourselves. So that's why I'm so grateful that you're coming to offer this class again, because I think we really need it to open our minds up a little bit to that.
I believe many people do. Many people do. And yes, I could share with you the scientific reasons and probabilities why this is successful, why this works. But really, those individuals who can do this themselves, that's proof in the pudding. That's what helps them open up their mind. That's what's possibly changes their entire paradigm of life. Because let's face it, Dale, this no longer becomes a solid thing. At least temporarily, it becomes, as I say, soft. It changes molecular structure.
Yeah. And I think what you said about mindset, and if you're skeptical, I think for anything with this type of particular modality, open-mindedness, curiosity, I think is so powerful, because I think that fixed mindset, like you said, I don't think that's actually skepticism. In my opinion, I think skepticism is asking questions and being curious, but saying that you can't do or this isn't possible is actually a fixed mindset and actually a belief, in my opinion. And I think that that's something that to think about, even in anything that you explore in your life. So I think I want to say that, because I think skeptics are things as an intuitive, we encourage skepticism, but we want to make sure there's a difference in definition between skepticism and a fixed mindset or a belief. So, and beliefs can be shifted and changed, as you're well aware, John, with working with hypnotherapy. And that's really what the power of the subconscious offers. So thank you for joining us today and sharing a little bit about this. This class is coming up, and we've offered this before. It's been very popular. So can you tell our audience a little bit about what they can expect from attending the class?
First and foremost, they can expect to have fun.
Yeah.
And that may sound a lot easier than it actually is, particularly in our American society here. I spent a lot of time during our workshops to help people to simply have fun, not to expect anything, but to anticipate and allow everything. This is why children often are so successful. They're often bending the spoons before their parents. They don't have decades of being told, you can't do this. This is not possible. This is not real. They don't have decades of that mindset stuff that we carry around. So I spent a lot of time during our workshops helping the adults to, again, place their conscious mind aside and just have fun. The children are already having fun. And they will often be the first ones to bend.
Well, I'm so excited you're going to be coming and joining us. And again, we're going to put your information up for people how they can reach you if they're interested in and they're not able to attend this particular round. We're going to have them back again. We have them back periodically. We'll send everyone to John's website if you're interested in checking out more about his business. If you are interested in registering for the class coming up, be sure to do so because again, we had to direct parking and we had a wait list for the last class we had a couple years ago. So, but other than that, John, is there anything else you want to share with us before we head on out today?
I look forward to meeting everyone again. And if someone wishes to contact me for hypnosis or you just have some questions, I'll have a chat about hypnosis. LancasterHypnotherapy.com is probably the best way to reach me. That's my website. And on there, they can watch videos of other people who have successfully changed their lives, including myself, with hypnosis. So thank you again, Kara, for this opportunity simply to have a chat with you. I'm looking forward to it. This is going to be fun. We're going to have fun.
Yeah, I'm excited. Thank you. Thank you so much, John. And again, we will see you guys soon. And thanks again for joining us. Have a great
Thank
one.
you. Bye.
Bye.